Hey guys, Civil Lord here, back again with another action figure review. Today we'll be taking a look at the long-awaited Mythic Legion's Poxxus wave, Tharnogg, who is an orc shaman from the complication of Basilia. This, of course, is brought to us by the fine folks over at Horsemen Studios, and of the two brute scale figures, not my favorite. I gotta give it to the Jin Kalazier, whatever you want to call him, from yesterday, but I like this guy quite a bit. He was actually the second figure I opened, the first one being Kalazier, whatever you want to call it. And I have to say, the reason I opened the brute scale figures first was to make sure that they were a little better than Tharnogg's Vol, who, mind you, not a terrible figure at all. He's a great figure. He looks awesome. Very, very nice in hand for the most part, but the feet were loose. And then on mine, I kind of monkeyed up the piston on the front of his leg. But as I mentioned in the Kalazier, whatever you want to call it video, I did get replacement parts for him, so he's a little better now. A little. That said, I think they could stand to make some improvements with the brute scale body mold. I talked about him a little bit during Kalazier, whatever you want to call its video. I'm going to do the same here. Maybe not as much, and we're also not going to look at the articulation. We already did that yesterday. So if you want to see that, then I'll say this one more time before we pull them out for comparison. But you can watch the Kalazier, whatever you want to call it video I did yesterday. Have I annoyed you with redundant repetitiveness yet? I wonder. Because some people say the same thing 50 times, and they have more subs than I do. So I start to wonder if that ain't all a bunch of bullcrap. So, with that being said, random side tangents and stupid nonsense aside, let's cut to the chase and take a look-see at Tharnogg's accessories. Starting off with his extra hands, which is an invert of what he has. Of course it is. I do really wish these had the hinges that go up and down, these grip hands, because he comes with this big Mahungahala frickin' staff here, which, by the way, does have pieces. It's two pieces there. I effed up. I could have put a effect piece on this for the URL. Oh well, can't win them all. But I do think this is from the Santa Claus figure, the Father Christmas, this bottom piece here. If I'm not mistaken, maybe somebody can correct me on that if I'm wrong, but this top piece definitely new. Hey, stupid, it's backwards. It's got the cool skull on it. It's got a human skull there. It's got, I don't know what that is, with some feathers there. And then it's got some, what looks to be antlers. And almost like some kind of messed up looking dream catcher thing. There's some bones. Why has he got a human skull there? That's small enough to be a child, you know. But a cool piece. It's got some flex to it, so you won't bust it very easily, but I wouldn't go cranking on it. Does it have, like, effects built into it, or is that just sticks and junk? I can't tell. But if it does, it looks freaking cool, man. I like this piece. That said, he does also come with an alternate hand with a cool little ball lightning, as Ozzy Osbourne likes to say. No, that's not what this is. It's a big old sphere shooting out of it, which the sphere, as far as I can tell, is glued on there. This is PVC. The hand is actually PVC, and you can't take this out of the hand. I think it is a slightly different sculpt from this. This, slightly. Not by a lot. Just enough to fit on there. So, it might be slightly more open. But it's a cool piece. I dig it. It is pretty heavy on the hand, though. I wouldn't say he's got Headless Horseman issues with floppiness on that, though. And then last but not least, he does come with the War Paint head. Which, unfortunately, this is the last alt head in this wave. Kala Who's It didn't come with one. And the two Ogre Scales didn't come with one. So, yeah, kind of a bum there. But, you know, better get some alt heads than none. I mean, 5 of the... How many figures? It's like half the figures in the wave got alt heads. Even for 4 Horsemen standards, if you came in during the Advent of Decay, that's a pretty good average. That said, why don't we take a closer look at Tharnogg here. I like the fur pelt. I had to comb out some dingleberries, though, on the edges, but it sits on him well. Kind of tucks up behind the head, drapes under the pauldrons, then kind of, I like to push it behind these things on his belt here. It's got this big skull belt buckle thing going on, which looks really cool. Oh my god, it almost looks like a cat and balls. Ah! I noticed that! Wow, Tharnogg's packing. That's hilarious. These look like giant... Of course, they're not his skin color, obviously, but, you know, mentally, I am occasionally still an immature AF teen, and I can't help but feel like these look like testes. That's pretty hilarious, man. I'm not gonna lie. See, we got some bones hanging there. Wow. Alright, Unseen, doing it live. Tharnogg's packing. Okay, man. That said, he does have the cool pauldrons up here. His little spiky dad there, or something. And he does have the antlers. They're not supposed to be sideways. I know they're supposed to face back, but this is the only way I can get them up against the review set. He's got some wraps on the arms, as well as the feet, or the legs. And much like Canucks Vol, who had one on the very side, the right side, these are slip-on, like kind of sock cover pieces, so you can just slip them off. The forearms are indeed the gauntlet twist forearms, but I will tell you, on this guy, much like Calazar, they are a little on the gummy side. You could hear that. But they don't feel fragile, okay? I want to make that perfectly clear. They do not feel fragile. This one's a little looser than the other. I think a little dab of soap will fix that. If that's not something you're into, a dab of soap should fix that. I could pop these right off without heat. I use heat to pop them back on, of course, but they pop right off without heat. So that's a plus. I will say his right foot on mine is not, you know, weeble wobble floppy, but it's not tight enough for all this business up here. And my review set is also not stable, as you can see. It almost falls down and ruins the whole video there. So let's try not to whack the crap out of that. But this foot here, much like Calazar, whatever, is pretty tight in comparison to this one. So if I can get one this tight, then great. Thumbs up. Let me actually check my Calazar quick. Whatever it is. I don't care what it's... Starts with a K, ends with a alley something, you know? Yeah, his right one is looser than his left. The left one does have a little detent in there, but he also doesn't have a lot of business going on, so I can almost forgive his. You know, Canucks Vol was kind of weird because he had the weird foot leg thing going on. This guy, he's just got a lot of business, so he kind of needs some stability there. I mean, I can stand him. He stands, but I'd rather he not take a tumble, you know? That said, as far as anything else on this guy goes, his one hip is a little loose forward and back. I'm not bothered by that, though. I did just pose him for the URL, so maybe that's why. But, really cool figure. Also, the pauldrons could be a little tighter, but they were like that on Canucks Vol, and they're not falling out, so that's fine. He's good enough, I think. Most people probably aren't gonna mind some of the issues I'm having, but I did notice that somebody... Whoa! Noticed that. I still don't think I'm getting that left foot replaced. I think it's just going to be the right one. The right one is not good. The left one's, it's passable. I can work with it. You know, if I just stand him there and leave him alone over time, it might actually seep into itself and kind of stiffen up on its own. I noticed my Canucks have all kind of doing that, but yeah, no. Nobody wants to deal with cataclysms in their collection. I'm just here to try and prevent that, maybe. I know some people use adhesives or heat and whatnot. I've never had luck with heat and whatnot. That just doesn't work for me. But I will say, if you use the right adhesive, you should be good. That said, I'm the type of guy, when I pay the money for something, I want it to be ready to rock out of the box. I don't want to have to fidget with it, try and get it to... You know, putting something together is one thing, alright? Poxxus, which is stupid halo and wings and freaking 2.0 arse arms. But, you know, this guy, relatively simple in comparison. Really, you just got to get the fur pelt situated. But at the end of the day, I do still really like the figure. I'm very happy I got him. He was one of the ones I would have got regardless if I got an all-in, so there is that. You guys know me. I'm not big into the good guys very much, but this guy is cool. I really like him. I'd like to see more good guy orcs. I think we need more of those. I was kind of sad we didn't see one for House of the Noble Bear. I figured we would have got one there for sure. I also think maybe they exist in the Order of Aetheron, because there is an ogre in the Order of Aetheron, that Ukazak guy. And then I would like to see what they do with Queen Urxa in the future. I feel like she's going to become kind of an anti-hero of this universe. And I'd also like to see some more, you know, brute scale orcs. I think this is good scale for orcs. What I'd really like to see, though, is brute scale Minotaur. That'd be sick. So, with that being said, wish list and side tangents aside, I like the figure, but that's enough dilly-dallying for now. It's time to move right along and take a look at some size comparisons. First up, here is good old Tharnogg, alongside another member of the Convocation of Basilia, Hamir Skrullwarder. He's got plenty of R's for me to roll in his name, and unlike Tharnogg here, who has a very tribal look, especially when you throw on the war paint, Hamir has a very Hindu-esque aesthetic, at least in ethnicity, you know? Tharnogg, it's very clear. He's a tribal dude. He's probably not afraid to go a little savage. He is an orc after all. I mean, look at those freaking tusks on that head, man. Gnarly head sculpt. I love it. But Hamir seems a little bit more conservative when it comes to battling. Probably does it from a distance. Doesn't get his hands too dirty. Tharnogg, I think, gets his hands dirty. He ain't afraid of that crap. That said, we also have another brute scale from the Poxxus wave. We got Calazir, Kala, whatever you want to call him. That's the last time I'm going to say that in this video, I promise, but I can't help it. It sounds funny to me. And that's what we do here. We don't just review action figures, give you the information you may or may not need, and help you justify a buying decision. We try to entertain you at the same time. Isn't that what it's all about? Does it have to be a freaking mini documentary with every video? I don't think so. That's a buzzkill. But as you can see, because of the ponytail, Calazir is a little bit taller. A little bit, but not by a lot. So before he takes a moose antler to the face there, I don't know if you can use those antlers on the alder head either. I don't have one handy to test that, but I imagine maybe you could. Even if the pegs are a little big, a little heat goes a long ways. So getting Hamir out of here. Of course, would not be one of my videos without bringing in Brother Mandibilith. Right there. And the Unke 11 Spawn, infamous Unke 11 Spawn right there. We ain't towering over everyone today, and it's going to be that way for the next couple days because we're going to move on to the ogre scales tomorrow. Ooh! So, with that being said, it's time now that we wrap things up. Some final thoughts. Overall, and aside from the loosey-goosey right ankle on my particular figure, I am quite a fan of good old Tharnogg. Even though he is a little busy upstairs, I mean, he's got a lot going on with those pauldrons, those moose antlers, that crazy staff of his, which, if I'm not mistaken, reuses some of the Father Christmas staff, right? Am I right about that? Let me know in the comments. But I will say that despite the fact that I do really like this figure, and Calazer, tomato, potato, right? We looked at it yesterday, by the way. I think the fine folks over at Four Horsemen Studios do need to tweak a couple of things with these brute scale bodies. I think the shoulder sockets are a little bit loose, and the ankle joints could stand to be tighter. Like the ogre scale figures in this wave, super rock solid ankles on both Azahazar and Arakagor, who we will be looking at during the next couple days here. So I think once they get especially the ankle joints tightened up, I could always tighten the shoulders myself. That's really just a socket thing. I've never been able to tighten up a hinge without adhesive, and I'm not fond of doing that unless I have an extra pair to do that with. That said, as long as we could tighten up those ankle joints, make them a little bit more stable, because again, at least in Tharnogg's case, he is a little busy upstairs, I think we'll be aces. We'll be out to the races, and we should be good to go, ready to rock, whatever you want to say. But at the end of the day, I still really like this figure. Got him in a pretty sick pose, if I do say so myself, as well as Calazer. I mean, I was really proud of that one. So with that being said, hope you guys enjoyed this review. Until next time, I'll catch you guys later.